Hi, radical families. Hello and welcome to my channel. Thank you for joining me. I am Dr. Arianna Howard, the creator of Radical Learning Spaces, a training series designed for all the adults who support you and your children. I also support families who have children struggling with academics and behavior. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Your support helps to keep this channel going. Now, let's get to the reason you clicked on the video. Help! My kids are home for the rest of the year. So, governor said schools are closed. Will they be closed next year? We don't even want to think about it, right? I know you're struggling. I know you're stressed. I am here to help. So let's get started. In this video, first we will talk about how to take care of you. Then we'll talk about what happens to the brain under stress. We'll talk about something called funds of knowledge. Now, many of you have never heard this term before. It is going to blow your mind and it will help you to support your children academically. Then we'll tie it all together and talk about how we make this work at home. And along the way, I'll be sprinkling in some strategies for you to use. All right? Now, if you see this star hanging around the screen, that means, in my opinion, that what's on the screen, what I'm talking about, is muy importante. Take a screenshot, take notes, whatever you need to do. All right, let's get started. Number one, take care of you first. As a caregiver, as a homemaker, we are fed the narrative that we have to give and give and give and give and give and give and give. When do we have time to fill ourselves up? Okay. I want you to always remember to take care of you first. If you raggedy and broke down, how are you any good for anyone else? Okay. One way that we can do this, very easy, free of charge, is to pay attention to our breath. When we become stressed, our breath is the first thing to leave us. Our stomach becomes tight, our lungs become constricted, and our breathing is shallow. We don't send enough oxygen to our brain, and all sorts of things start to happen. Look at this image here. The difference between when we breathe through our nose and breathe through our mouth. Now, I'm a mouth breather, so I have to consciously think about this. Look at how much more oxygen we can supply to our brain when we. That feels good. So, throughout the day, starting today, take some time to tune into your breath. Your body will thank you. In taking care of you first, always remember small, tolerable doses. We always want to take on the world, right? We have a to-do list that's 2 pages long, but our brain functions best. Our body functions best. Our heart feels the best when we take life in small, tolerable doses. Work for an hour, take a 15-minute break. Come back and work for 30 minutes, take a 7-minute break. Don't feel guilty about giving your brain a chance to reset. Small, tolerable doses. Now, here's something that I give to teachers, but I think it can also be beneficial for those of us who have little ones in our house at this time. It's called the tick, the thing that instantly calms you. It's 3 o'clock. The kids are running around crazy. No one's had a nap. The dishes aren't done. You have no idea what you're going to make for dinner, and you are on the edge. What is something that you can do at the drop of a hat that will instantly calm you? For some people, it's a rubber band around their wrist, and they pop it, and that sting releases the stress, releases the anxiety, gives them what they need to come back to center. I have heard, I do not have children of my own, but I have heard that the bathroom can be a safe space. I heard that they also find you there, but they can't get in. So if the bathroom is a space for you that can instantly calm you, go to that space. Now, for me, it is pictures of shirtless men in yoga poses. They calm me right on down. Studies show that peppermint wakes up the brain and caramel calms the brain down. Lavender oil, okay? I use this in trainings, during trainings. I have a jar that I keep with me. Every 2 hours or so, I take a whiff and it sends good vibes to my brain and helps me to calm down and be present. So take a few moments. What is something that I can do at the drop of a hat that will instantly calm me when I'm feeling on the edge? Take a few minutes. All right, let's keep it moving. Now, here is a picture of our brain. Okay? When life is good, when life is predictable, and there's no pandemic hanging over our heads, information enters in through the bottom, the brain stem, and travels right to where it needs to go. There's nothing blocking it. Everything's online, everything's open and working. But when we are stressed, parts of our brain begin to shut down. It starts at the top and it just continues to shut down. The more and more stress we're under, the longer we're under stress. And the first part of our brain to shut down is the smart part of our brain, the prefrontal cortex. That's the part that we need to think and remember and help our children with homework. When we're stressed, that goes offline. And the more and longer we're under stress, the more parts of our brain begin to shut down. And here's the result: thinking becomes hard, remembering becomes hard. And we're on this emotional pendulum. We can easily swing from happy to stressed, sleepy to excited. These are all normal responses when our brain is under stress. So, what can we do? And how can we support our child's at home instruction? It feels overwhelming, right? I am here to tell you it doesn't have to be. There's often this pressure to make home just like school, right? The expectation for us to set up study spaces like the ones you see here on the screen. Speaking from personal experience, we didn't have a space that looked like this in our home, right? And that's okay. There is something that I want to give you that you can use to support your child's at home instruction that you will get nowhere else. Are you ready? It's called Funds of Knowledge. Now, this guy here, his name is Luis Moll. He's from Puerto Rico, and he studied the experiences of Latinx children in the United States. He was interested in looking at the ways that they brought the knowledge from home into school and vice versa. And so he coined this concept called funds of knowledge. Now, here's the long definition. Okay, it's the historically accumulated and culturally developed bodies of knowledge and skill essential for household or individual health, individual functioning, and well being. Whew, that's a mouthful, right? And what the heck do all those words mean? Let's break it down. Historically accumulated bodies of knowledge. Okay, that's what funds of knowledge are. Now, if you look here at this picture, you see one, two, three, four generations of mothers, the youngest of which is holding what I am going to assume is her little newborn. Now, you better believe that the bodies of knowledge around being a mother has been historically accumulated throughout this family, and it is being passed down through the generations. Great great grandmother learned and passed down mothering skills to great grandma, who passed it down to grandmother, who was now passing it down to new mom. Funds of knowledge are also culturally developed. Here we have a picture of an Asian Muslim family, and they have particular ways of eating, living, and practicing spirituality that are culturally developed, right? And those are passed down. These funds of knowledge are essential for household health, individual functioning, and well being. So here we see a picture of a young boy on his family farm. It looks as if he's feeding the cows, right? So he has this very specific knowledge about farming and caring for cows that is essential for the functioning of his family and perhaps the functioning of his community. Perhaps his family's farm provides meat and milk to the community. So his role is so crucial to the well-being and the functioning of his family and those connected to his family. All right. So that's the breakdown of the definition of funds of knowledge. These are experiences and rich traditions based in cultural practices, your family's cultural practices. They are part of our inner culture, they're part of our daily routines. It's special knowledge and special expertise that we have based on our roles in our family, in our community, and in our culture. Okay? So let's take a minute to look at some specific funds of knowledge. I want to speak to my sisters for a second. African American women is a particular cultural group, yes? And we have a wealth of knowledge about this stuff right here, hair. Now you'll see on your screen 4 pictures of beautiful African American women, all with very different hair types, hairstyles, textures, colors, lengths, right? We know all the tricks and of the trade to be able to make our hair do the things that you see on the screen. That's a special fund of knowledge, a special expertise that is very particular to our culture as African American women. I'll share a personal experience. In my household, we have a very rich fund of knowledge around music. It was always playing in the background. We were making it with voices, with instruments. We participated in choirs. We wrote songs. My mother was the choir director. My stepfather was the musician in the church that we attended, right? Music is very much a part of who I am. And I have a very specific fund of knowledge about music. You want to have a conversation with me about music? I could talk to you for hours. So, why are funds of knowledge important? They are part of our identity, and they're how we connect with our loved ones. They help us learn about the world, and they give us windows into what we value and how we learn. In schools, many of our children do not get the opportunity to express their funds of knowledge. They're not able to express their identity and to talk about how they connect with loved ones, right? And educators are missing out because it shows them what children value and how they learn. I return to my example of music. I often use music to help me study. It's either playing in the background or I use it to help come up with jingles that help me remember content. It is very much a part of what I value in the world. Okay. When I watch a new movie or a new television show, I am always listening for the music and whether or not it works well or sets the mood for what I'm watching. It gives us windows into what we value and how we learn. Okay. So now that we are beginning to understand what this idea is and why it's important, how do you, as a caregiver, explore your family's funds of knowledge? I want to give you a list. Okay, here's the first part of the list. You can look at things in your family, such as your home language, your family values and traditions, caregiving practices, friends and family outings. I want to take a minute to dive deeply into just a couple of these. Your home language. For many children today, the languages spoken at home are not the languages spoken in school. And so, even though this is a time where we're feeling stressed and anxious and uncertain, it is a wonderful opportunity for our students to be engulfed in their home language, that language that is comfortable to them. They don't have to feel ashamed for having an accent or saying things differently or being considered speaking inappropriately in school. Your family has a special language that you speak, and that is a fund of knowledge. Family values and traditions. In school, many students are not able to talk about these, but since they're home with you, have conversations. What are some values and traditions that have been passed down through the generations? Cooking, baking, childbirth, entering into adulthood, right? There are very specific traditions that your family holds that is so important for your young ones to understand and to carry on, and to most importantly be proud of. Here's the second part of the list: household chores, educational activities, family occupations, scientific knowledge, TV shows and movies. Your family has very specific funds of knowledge around these ideas. Household chores, for example. Oh my gosh, I could talk to you for hours about the type of household chores that we had in our family. They were based on gender and based on age. My brother, he was the youngest, he was the only boy. Guess what he had to do? Take out the trash. Now, I was the oldest, so that means I had the most chores, right? There was a system, things were rotated around based on the day of the week, the homework that we had, right? And then being able to perform those chores the way that they were expected takes a specific type of knowledge and expertise. Have conversations with your little ones about household chores if they have them. Scientific knowledge. Now, this is something that I think is easily dismissed because we think about science in the traditional school sense. But I want to return to my earlier conversation about hair. You better believe there is all kinds of scientific knowledge we have about the chemicals, the process, outcome required to make our hair do all sorts of different things, right? I know that in order for my hair to become curly, there's a specific process with chemicals and water and drying and styling to make it do that, right? Your family possesses a wealth of knowledge around science that I don't think you might have realized until now. So take some time, think about these types of funds of knowledge, and have conversations with your little ones. Favorite TV shows and movies, right? We're all spending lots more time in front of screens. What are some of those favorite TV shows and movies in your family? Why? We have a family group chat, and whenever one of us watches a movie that we grew up watching, we send a snippet of it in the group chat. And what does that do? It brings up all of these nostalgic conversations and memories we had about growing up. Those same memories are being created for your little ones. Okay? All right. So, last but not least, making it work at home. You got this. You got this. Whatever homework gets done will get done. What doesn't get done, doesn't get done. We are all in this together, figuring it out day by day, moment by moment. Do not beat yourself up for not living up to these expectations that we hold of being a super parent. You got this. Whatever you get done today is what is meant to get done today. And important, important, important. Take care of you first, whatever that looks like throughout the day. Okay. Now, when it comes to supporting actual academic time, it is important for us to be clear and consistent. Remember that our brains are under stress. They're working extra hard to be online and to be fully present. Okay. We're going to struggle. And so being clear and being consistent is so important, right? You might hear the first part of an instruction, but not the last part. So consistently sending clear messages about the expectations for at-home instruction is so, so important. And knowing that small, tolerable doses is the expectation. Let them work for 15 to 20 minutes, take a break. Let them work for 40 minutes, take a break. Our brain needs time to recharge and reset. Empathy and repetition are key, right? If we as adults are experiencing stress and struggling to think and remember and we're feeling emotional, how much more are our kiddos struggling to think and remember and keep their emotions in check? Okay? Empathy first, repetition second, right? Repetition, repetition, repetition. It's how we learn. To our brains, repetition is this rhythm, very similar to our heartbeat. And rhythm is safe, and safe is predictable and consistent. Okay? Repetition is so important to learning. It's very crucial at this point in time in our world when things feel very uncertain. We have to establish some sort of rhythm to our day, to our children's academic time so that the brain feels safe. It feels like things are predictable and consistent. Okay? Remember, home is not school. Resist the urge to make home look just like school. Okay? Create those academic learning moments that fit within your family's organic way of being. Okay? You don't have to make it look just like school. Rhythm, here are some ways that you can bring rhythm into your day. Okay? Create this rhythm between supporting your child, letting them work independently, and then letting them work in groups, maybe on a Google chat or with siblings or other family members. Okay? Create the rhythm, adult support, working alone, working in groups. Some of us are extroverts, some of us are introverts. Introverts are not shy. It means we internally process and we need time alone to recharge. Extroverts like to process by talking, and being around people gives them energy. So create the rhythm in your day for you and for your little ones to be extroverted and to be introverted. Okay? Create a rhythm between noise and quiet. Create a rhythm between movement and stillness. And create a rhythm between kinesthetic learning, which is learning with our body, and audio visual, which you're doing now, eyes and ears. Okay, so here are some ways that you can bring rhythm to your day, to academic support time that helps our brains feel safe so that it can be completely present, completely online, so we can do the intellectual work we need to complete those assignments. All right? You made it to the end of this video, and studies show that 2 days from now, you will forget 70% of what we talked about today. And that's okay. What I want you to do is pick one thing. Maybe your breath, maybe a tick, maybe thinking about rhythm, maybe thinking about funds of knowledge. Pick one thing to try. Okay? It will make an effect exponentially on you and your little ones. If you're thinking, Dr. Howard, you are the bomb, girl, and I want to learn more. Great! There are 3 ways you can do that. There are courses you can choose from on my website. The link is below in the description. I'm also available for coaching and consulting. I currently support about 7 families who have children who are struggling with academics and behavior, and I'm always looking to support more. As a bonus, the 3rd way to learn more is my resource list. Now, this is a specially curated list of resources about what we talked about today and even more. You get free lifetime access. The link to the resource list is below. And if you enjoyed the content today, please, 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 please share. I term my training series Radical because I want to affect the fundamental nature of education. And I believe that we can do this. We can do it quickly and more powerfully when we share. So share this video, share the content, all right? And then lastly, if you have questions, if you need more support, if you just want to talk, I am here. Let's connect. My contact information is there, my website, my social media. Again, please don't forget to like and subscribe. And I look forward until the next time we are together. Be great. Be the change you want to see. Be a radical family.